Forward TV. The world is thinking.
Now, if we look at the recent period and the knocks that this concept of intellectual property has taken in the era of the internet, I think we can have a very clear view of what it means by having a decent understanding of the terms analog and digital, because these terms are usually used to mean the involvement or non-involvement of computers. But I think they have a far more interesting history and meaning behind them, where analog refers to a continuum of information and digital refers to discrete chunks of information, where analog processes for recreating things are either natural processes, like the reaction of silver salt compounds to light on photographic film, or where they're a series of symbols that are potentially infinite in their range and in their subtlety. Whereas digital recreation of something has as its base some sort of consistent unit that you permutate to create the reproduction. The basis of analog material is nuance, and the basis of digital material is permutation. And all written language, in my view, is to some extent digital. All written language worthy of being called a language. So, since written language was devised, since methods for disseminating and printing it were developed, and now with the internet, I see new technology not as some cheeky interloper that has come and put the mockers on our business model, but as the logical trajectory of civilization's way of disseminating ideas, which is digitally. So that the intrinsically digital character of written language and the potentially digital character of images and sounds, that latent potential has simply been realized by recent technology. And I'm possibly more sanguine than others on the panel about the challenges that intellectual property is undergoing, about this notion that the jig is up for the creative industries in our current circumstances. What I'm more concerned about is not dissemination, but appropriation, is what the current technologies do to the way that creators influence one another. And at this stage, I'd like to bring into the discussion Harold Bloom's Anxiety of Influence, a book which advances the theory that great writers were motivated to supersede one another because of anxiety that their work might be subordinate or derivative. It's also a book that looks at the way that misremembering, that taking things down by hand, there are lots of sort of unconscious or semi-conscious opportunities for creativity that are circumvented if you can cut and paste perfect replicas of things. What implication does the current environment have, in light of what I've said, for the way that artists influence one another, and does it change the fundamental tenets of Harold Bloom's Anxiety of Influence thesis? I'll leave it there.